Welcome back to Backyard Farming, King's Backyard Farming. Remember a couple of weeks ago we planted these herbs. Today we're going to spike them into this bigger tray. Oh, we're over there. Looking at the wrong camera. So we're going to show you how we can transfer them from this high density planting here into these tray cells. We'll probably put 2 or 3 in each one, just so that they're, when we plant them in the garden, they can bush out a bit. So we got, as I remember, I think we got basil, we've got sage, oregano, very little, dill, and more basil. So we've got basil coming out of our ears. I'm going to grow all these, and then I'm going to put some at Thai power. So if you want to shoot in there, if you're a Catherineite, shoot in there and you can grab some basil once it's grown up. So we'll probably put that on Facebook anyway. So what do we need? We need our potting mix, we need our tray, we need this. Oh, Mr. Wolf, quick, need your help, mate. Come on, get up here, come and help me. There you go, how you going here today, old mate? Hey, you going to help us do this? All right, so the first thing that we're going to do, excuse me, what are you doing? Supposed to be helping. Righto, good shot. First thing we've got to do is we've got to sterilise our tray. So on the farm we would be using, oh, you're getting lazy. We'd be using a sterilising agent, but for the home garden I figured we'd just put some boiling water over it and try and do our best. It's not ideal unless you sat it inside boiling water, but just getting some over and try and kill some bacteria and fungus cells would be good. So we've got the kettle coming here. You've got to be very careful with this because it's really hot. Oh, thank you, Sam. What an awesome model. And we'll just pour it down the cells to try and make sure there's nothing there. Don't burn yourself. So having that really hot water, boiling water, should just help kill some stuff. Thanks, Sam. You could also use some bleach, but if you don't want to use bleach, boiling water. So most of the time you're not going to have an issue, just doesn't hurt to do a little bit. Second thing we want to do is we've got, there's different sorts of potting mix that you can get. A seed raising mix is important in this environment because it's designed to be much more porous so that the seedlings don't go rotten. The thing that they get is called dampening off. It's when the water sits in the cell too much and they just go rotten. So if you get a seed raising mix, it should be much more porous than a general potting mix. So we just got to fill the tray the same as what we did last time. Mitch Wolf, check this out. Have a look at here. What's in here? It's the rats. Hey, look, this side. Check this out. Here he is, here he is. It's a big one. Ooh, it's a big one there. So we just get it full. With our little shovel. Are you sulking? Where's the chop-chops? Ooh, where are they? Here they come, Wolf. Here they come, mate. Chop-chops. Here he is. Can you hear him? Can't hear him. Here we go. This is a good way in the home garden because if you have something go wrong, if you plant 1 seed per cell and you've got a germination issue, it's hard. So when you plant a heap like this, it's a simple way to make sure you've got your seedlings for your garden. Bit of water just to wet it up. You need to have it wet, otherwise it'll be too sharp on the little seedlings. Alright, so we'll start with these bigger ones, the basil. You can see you can just pry those little tiny seedlings out. They're a bit long, you see the roots there. Then we can just spike them into the cell. Don't squeeze them because you will damage the stem. So we'll get a couple in there. And the beauty of doing this too, you can push them down a bit deeper. Just push them in and squash them in. And they'll go for it. And it also gets rid of the lanky stems because they've been sitting in there's one with no roots. They've been sitting on the balcony here to grow, so they get a bit lanky. Push them in and... Oh, thanks, Sam. Got to have a nice cup of tea when you're doing this. So you've got to have a bit of patience here, you can't be rough. Well, they won't survive, but you'll be surprised how many do survive. Talking about survival, those tomatoes we planted the other day that I said were really soft, we lost all the aromas, even though we put mulch over top of them and everything and kept them wet. Just too soft, so I think the nurseries have been really pushing their seedlings to get them out so you can get planting, but it means they push them with a fair bit of fertiliser to get them up quickly, which has resulted in soft plants. So if you've tried to grow some stuff and it's died, don't just think you're a terrible grower. It may well be the tomatoes and the seedlings have been a little bit soft lately. Nursery's been doing their best to try and meet the demand, but it comes at a price. Basil grows really well through the dry season here. If you love basil, it doesn't take much to do this. You just grow them in pots on your balcony. You can see these pots that Sharon's got behind me, just got them on a timer. You could put basil and herbs in them. You've always got some. Homegrown basil is heaps nicer than the stuff you buy. Got much more flavour. I was over at James's place the other day and I seen a basil bush and the leaves are like fair dinkum that big. I might show you them. So when we planted all those other seedlings, I showed you how to get chilli seeds out of a chilli we got from Woolies. I slipped them into Sharon's pot up here just to see what would happen, and they've all grown quite nicely, so we might as well spike them out as well. Get those roots. Just a matter of pulling them out with a chopstick, loosen them up, and we'll put them into the tray, same with the others. Chilli plants are pretty durable. It's actually a good way if you've got an automatic irrigation system to grow some seedlings like this. Because we didn't do anything with these, these came on twice a day I think. And here they are, the seedlings are up. And we can just spike them out. Very low maintenance that way. Don't have to worry, and the other ones we had to keep watering all the time. Whereas these ones pretty much looked after themselves. So that's what we got there. Little tiny seeds, the roots still on, and we'll plant them in the cells, same as we're doing the herbs. Then they'll grow up enough to put them in the garden. Fantastic. So because this is taking a fair while, I'm roping in the guys from Country Media to give us a hand, get this out the way. There's 3 guys in Country Media. There's Joshua, James and Sam. And they've been doing a fantastic job developing this series. They're also doing a heap of videoing on the farm to do our induction and show everyone how to, what they have to do on if they're a tractor driver, how we want our daily maintenance done. And so what we need to do, if you just have a look here, Josh, I'll show you how to do it. So they're very fragile. You don't want to squeeze them. Well, starting from the start, when we get them out, we get this underneath, and you've got to loosen up the soil so that there's actually no no pressure on the, when you're pulling them out, there's no pressure on the plant at all. So they're all loosened up. So those ones will be over there. Then we put a hole in, and these ones, so you can see clearly here, the green stem starts about there, and then there's the root section. So you can lay that in there, and on the root section, because that bends easier, just push them down carefully and squeeze them in. We'll actually seal them off with water, give them a really good soak once we've done this. So I'll show you again. Then we can all jump in, and so just push that where the root is, not where the stem is. The stem will break down and have it so it's sticking out. These are quite fragile, these little, these are dill, I think. So just push them down gently. And they'll take off. There you go. See, Nathan? Yep. Let's do it. Alright, so we've got a fair few seedlings out of those two trays. These little tiny ones are oregano, so they're too small to spike. So I've just taken clumps and put in each one. It's very important to be able to really soak these in without washing them out. So just gently going through each cell to make sure that they completely saturate, and that should fill in some air holes and bed them in well. And we're going to have to keep them quite wet for the first 24 hours, and they should sort of settle in. I wouldn't put them in the sun at this point either, the first day or so. You just want to treat them fairly carefully. If you've got a little shade house or something, that'd be ideal, or just keep them under the veranda for the first day or so. Then in a shady area, so you can get full sun for a little bit of the day. This is way too much for a home garden. But we're going to put some down at Tyre Power for anyone who wants to come and get some. Very important to make sure your potting mix is saturated before you start doing this too. Don't go into dry or damp potting mix. Make sure the whole cell is very wet so that there's no stress put on that little tiny plant more than what we've made it do in ripping it up and replanting it. We don't want any water stress over the next few days.